Hey everybody, I'm JJ Johnson. You're watching Reality Survival. So today we're going to talk about something that it's not a subject that I like because I'm a dog lover and I want to teach, or I want to just talk about some tips on how to survive a dog attack. Now I've made a few notes here on my phone, so I may be referring to these as we go. I don't like the idea of ever hurting dogs. Okay, and I would like to say that I would not want to ever do this, but there could be circumstances where you might find yourself in a circumstance where you have no other choice. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. For whatever reason, you were faced with a dog and you got attacked and you had to defend yourself. Again, I'm a dog lover. I don't like the idea of this, but I like people more than I like dogs, so I think this information is important to know. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so number one, there's generally going to be two phases to an attack, and the stages could vary in length and how long they last. The first stage is going to be the assessment, and that's when the dog is sizing you up, trying to figure out if you're a threat or not, and all that kind of stuff, and then there's going to be the attack. If the bite initially lasts more than 3 seconds, the dog's probably going to continue attacking you. So if it lasts more than 3 seconds, he means to probably kill you or really hurt you or whatever the case may be. So that means you're going to definitely have to take some action. So number two here, let's go ahead and take a look at some warning signs that a dog may be getting ready to bite. The first one is licking your lips, or not the first one, sorry. I've got a whole list here. Licking your lips, yawning, blinking rapidly. They may paw your hand away from them if you're petting them. They may be growling, nervously wagging their tail in a downward direction. The tail may go stiff, kind of straight out or up. They could be curling their lips, showing their teeth. You guys have seen these kind of things before. Their ears could be pinned back. Their body may become very, tense and stiff. They may turn their head and eyes away from you and kind of divert, their gaze. You may see kind of a whale eye where their eyes kind of roll to the side or back a little bit beforehand, and they may even start to walk away. Aggressive barking is not necessarily a reliable indicator that they're going to bark or that they're going to bite. So they also may give a warning snap as well. So those are some things that you could potentially see. I know all you guys have probably seen all those behaviors in dogs at different times. So that's just to kind of cover that before we go. Okay, so number three here, the thing is that when you see those warning signs and stuff like that, don't run. You don't want to run. You also don't want to stare them in the eye, directly in the eye. You want to kind of keep them in your vision, but keep your eyes kind of, looking down to where you can still see them, but you're not staring directly at them. Aggressive dogs are going to take that as a challenge. Just stand still and let them assess you for the time being. If you're going to try to run, that's probably going to excite them even more. And if you felt like it was reasonable, you may be able to slowly start to back away, but you just got to kind of gauge the situation and see if that helps or if it doesn't. The other thing is you want to go ahead and keep your fingers in, just ready to strike if you needed to, but don't have them out there where they could get nipped. And another one is don't smile. Showing your teeth, even though we think, hey, I'm just being happy, they take that as an aggressive sign, so don't smile. If you are going to talk to them and it doesn't necessarily hurt, then talk to them in a high-pitched, kind of friendly, more feminine voice. Hey, bud, it's okay, that kind of thing. Try to make them feel at ease. If they start to growl and get more aggressive, you want to use a firm, deep no. That no command, and let them know that that's not okay that they do that. Okay, you basically want them to think that you're in charge. You just say that no command and then back off. If you feel like there's no other situation and you have it available, you may want to go ahead and use some pepper spray or some bear spray or whatever the case, as far as whatever you have with you, that may be necessary. The thing is that you're not going to outrun the dog, most likely, especially if they're free and able to move. You're not going to outrun them. So you've got to try to defuse this situation by kind of standing your ground and getting the point across to them that you're not a threat. If you have a backpack or a piece of clothing, a jacket or something along those lines, you can put that up and you can have that to offer them in case they charge at you. That way, they're not biting on you and you're giving them some other object. Or if, worst case scenario, if you don't have anything, then give them, if you're right-handed, then I would suggest you give them your left arm, your left forearm, and let them bite on that. This is the part that I don't like because, again, like I said, I'm a dog lover, so I don't really care for this. But I carry my EDC knife in my right pocket. If a dog has a hold of my arm, I'm going to pull him up as much as I can, and I'm going to pull my knife out, and I'm going to be stabbing upward and behind and in at about a 45 angle behind the front leg, and that's going to be to try to get into the heart and cause as much quick damage as possible. All right. Again, I don't like talking about that, but it is a life-saving kind of technique, so it could come in valuable at some point. If you don't have a knife, and all you have is your fists or your hands, then you want to go ahead and have offer them your forearm, and then you want to strike down straight between the eyes on top of the bridge of the nose. Now that's going to hurt because it may drive their fangs more into you, but it's also going to hurt them an awful lot too, and that would hopefully be enough to get them to drive off and drive them away. That's got to be a really hard hammer fist straight between the eyes, right there at the bridge of the nose, and you want to do that as hard as you can to make it really count. Okay, so let's say the dog is continuing to persist. You have them on your arm. The next thing that you may want to try to do is try to sweep their legs out from underneath them and get them down on their back where you are on top of them. Okay, now if you do that, you want to drive your forearm down straight to the ground with their jaw around it and pin that down to expose their neck. And then you can take your hand and basically put it around their neck to start to choke them out if possible. Okay. The other situation there is if you end up finding yourself on the ground and the dog on top of you, you want to try to sweep their legs and get them so that they're on their back on top of you, and then you can start to choke them out around the neck as well. And mind you, this is all much easier said than done, okay? This is not an easy thing to do in the middle of an attack, but if you think about these things, they are fairly logical actions, and it's just tips and techniques to have in your head in case something happens. Okay, if your fist, or if your hand or your fist ends up in the dog's mouth, take your hand and shove it down their throat as far as you can. And their gag reflex is going to cause them to let go, and then you'll be able to pull your hand back and hopefully out of danger. Hopefully that will be uncomfortable enough for them that maybe they will go away then after that. Okay, you also always want to make sure that you keep your footing. You stay standing up. You don't want to go to the ground unless you have to, like we talked about in the situations earlier. But ideally, you want to keep yourself standing up and in a bigger position to where your vitals and your neck and all that kind of stuff is not going to be as easily accessible to the dog, and it also just puts you in a better fighting stance. So try to always stay up. If you fall down, try to get right back up as soon as possible. Okay, the next one is you obviously want to call for help, and you could be doing this at any time after the attack starts. Call for help, try to get somebody else in the area so that they can help you out. After an attack, even if the dog has penetrated your skin in any way, you want to make sure that you go to an emergency room and you get that treated to make sure there's no issues with rabies or any of that kind of stuff. You want to get that taken care of because it's very common to get infections after dog bites, so make sure you get that treated as well. Okay, and the last one is if you're coming to help somebody else and you're going to try to get a dog off, then what you want to do is you want to grab the back of their collar, pull up as much as possible, try to get the dog between your legs so that you can hold them in place and control their neck out in front of you. And if they don't have a collar on or anything like that, take a belt and put it into a configuration like a slip loop. Try to slip it over their neck and then yank up on it, to pull them up off and to block off that airway, and then try to maintain some control again, like I said, with your legs if you have to. So that is just some tips for dealing with or how to survive a dog attack. Again, love dogs. I would hate to ever, pull a knife on a dog or shoot a dog or anything like that. But if it's between me or my kids or my wife and a dog, it's going to be the dog every time. So anyway, guys, I hope you found this useful. I would love to hear your tips for how you can survive a dog attack down in the comments below. Also, for those people who've been using an Amazon link, I definitely appreciate that. That is very helpful. It doesn't cost you anything more, and it helps support this channel a whole bunch. As always, I also definitely appreciate it when you click the thumbs up button, when you share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And don't forget to live the 6 Ps. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance, even in a dogfight. Thanks, guys. Stay safe. We'll see you on another video soon.